Well, hi there. So I've talked about this before a little bit, I think. This sort of idea that your body doesn't really know the difference between fear and excitement. It's just a bunch of energy. And we label it as fear or excitement, or we have the power to. We have the power to transform it, particularly transforming fear into excitement. Um, and I've been thinking about that a lot lately because I have been sort of making that choice in my own life right now. I really, because I've kind of really faced everything in my life changing, I've had to make the choice as to whether I'm going to be afraid of all the stuff that's new and different and unfamiliar that I need to learn, or if I'm going to be excited about it. And it really wasn't until very, very recently that it was kind of like the epiphany. It sunk into my chest that it really was about my mindset. And actually, what really reinforced this for me was I had come to Midtown Sacramento last weekend to go apartment hunting, and actually that's when I found this apartment. And the first night that I was here, I was feeling really stuck. I was supposed to go see some apartments that day. I didn't end up seeing any of them, and just kind of like I was staying in an Airbnb, and I just kind of like laid on my bed and watched Nurse Jackie on Netflix because I just like couldn't get up and like go do it, and I was feeling a lot of resistance about this whole next step, even though it was something that I really wanted. It was something I was really excited about, but I was stuck in fear. And so eventually I got up and I left the place where I was staying and I went for a really long walk. Midtown Sacramento is very walkable. It's lots of tree-lined streets, and it's a nice mix of sort of like urban and suburban. So it was kind of perfect for me to just kind of walk and just clear my mind and just kind of work through whatever this block was. And I really got into kind of like a meditative state. I stopped trying to figure things out. I got out of my head and into my heart and just kind of let my intuition talk to me. I went to the same part of me that I go to when I'm coaching somebody or when I'm writing or when I'm creating, where you're really just kind of like you're not trying to actively figure everything out. You're letting the answers and letting the information just kind of come to you from wherever it's coming from. And so as I was walking around, I was really, coming to this conversation with myself that you have a choice between fear and excitement, and that you get to decide, you get to reinterpret. And what I had come to the conclusion was that you can either be afraid and in resistance of all of this change and everything that's new and unfamiliar right now, or you can be excited and open to it. Like fear is resistance and excitement is allowance. And that's what it really came down to. And that I had a choice. I had a choice. And it wasn't choosing to be afraid or excited, though I could, transmute that energy. But it was really about choosing whether I was going to be resistant about this or open to it. Because I was feeling a ton of resistance. I was feeling like, oh my God, what am I doing? Where am I? I don't recognize any of this. This is so different from New York, even though that's like exactly what I wanted. This is so unfamiliar. There's not as much stuff. I went down the list of things to be afraid of, and I was making that choice. I was choosing to have all that resistance about everything I was seeing, and I wasn't choosing to be open about it. And I wasn't choosing to allow it all to be different. That was like a comfort zone trap for me, was familiarity. It's like I did come here to get out of the familiar and into the unfamiliar. I did make this change to move into my discomfort zone, to move out of my comfort zone, to move out of my old matrix. So all of these feelings of unfamiliarity and discomfort, like these are expected and welcomed side effects. Like that means I'm onto something. That means that I am successful. That means that I have not just gone in circles, but I have made the change I set out to make. And then I was at a point where I could choose to be open to what I had manifested in my life, or I could resist it. And that my resistance felt like fear and my acceptance felt like excitement. And what was so weird about this is that I was walking down the street and I was thinking about this, and it was just all coming to a head, that essentially, like, the moral of this was it's all about your mindset. It's all about choosing your mindset. And what's so weird about this is that as I was thinking of the word mindset, like literally as the letter M was coming into my mind, I looked up and I was coming to a corner, and there was an office building on the corner, and the name of the company was in like neon blue letters, like huge letters right across the side of the building, and it was called Mindset Software. I mean, I could post like a Google Street View of exactly what I saw. And I didn't see that before I thought of this, and I didn't think of this before I saw that. It was at the exact same moment that they came together in this like perfectly synchronous event of like a confirmation that yes, it is about your mindset, and that shifted everything for me. That changed everything. Like right in that moment, it just like snapped, and I just like chose excitement, and I just chose to be open, and it felt amazing. It felt really good. It felt a little vulnerable, and that's a great sign. Um, but it felt fantastic. I ended up having a great weekend. I really explored Midtown and got a sense of like what it was like to to be here, riding my bike everywhere, seeing where the supermarket was and where restaurants were, and really just getting a lay of the land and having it not feel so unfamiliar. Like I accepted that night that like yes, everything feels unfamiliar right now. It should. You haven't lived here before, but you're going to know more as you go along. Every day you're going to get to know it even more. It was funny how once I got that kind of like that blockage out of the way, then everything else just flowed. Everything else was great. And it's not like it was all sunshine and lollipops. Like it still rained all weekend and I fell off my bike and all sorts of like little things happened, but I just kind of like laughed and accepted it because it was like I was in a space of accepting at that point. Like anything that was coming along, like I had already just chosen the path of acceptance. The more I accepted, the more I discovered. And now I just kind of feel like I have everything I need, and all of those feelings of lack and there's not enough, and it's too this and it's too that. All of that went away, and now it's not too much of anything or not enough of anything. It just is exactly what it is, and I just accept it for what it is because who am I to ask for this to be any different than what it is? I chose to move here, and I chose to move here knowing that it was going to be different, and so I can't then come here and say, oh, this is not the different that I wanted. I mean, I could, and I could leave, but choosing to accept it meant accepting the differences and then kind of discovering the way that those differences could actually be exactly what I was looking for. Those things in the unknown that scared me could be actually exactly what I needed. And the only thing that changed about that whole situation was my mindset about it.